We know how powerful that is, right? I mean, if you have, I don't know, hypertension in your family, most likely your kids are going to have it. So it's almost like you don't have a choice, and there's nothing you can do about that. Life went on, and I was a happy librarian. I started dancing tango, and my migraines were worse, and I was going from neurologist to neurologist, helpless, and there was nothing wrong with me. I was fatigued. I don't want to say depressed, but there were moments that I was like, well, if life is to be this way, it's not a lot of fun, you know? You're in pain all the time, you're fatigued, you don't have the energy to exercise, because that's also something that the doctors tell you a lot. You have to go to the gym because that's going to boost it's going to take you out of the depression. And I was like, well, I'm not depressed. I have friends, I have pets, I have a great job. I like Florida for the most part. So depression is not really a thing. I mean, I was sad with the loss of my mom, but I wasn't depressed. Then, in 2014, I got a job at a private hospital. I've always had this thing with medicine. I worked in a medicine medical library in Brazil, and I always had this thing with medicine because, you know, medicine equals knowledge, and knowledge has my attention, right? Because I like facts, and I like to read, and I am a nerd of sorts. So, 2014, I get a job at Aventura Hospital, a private hospital, and the job is very stressful. And then my health just declined. I was fatigued with, zero energy, to the point of sleeping 20 hours and not feeling fresh. I was still dancing, I was competing, life was okay. I still went to doctors, you know, to go see a GI doctor, go see another neurologist, because the migraines were like every day, and drink Gatorade. And one doctor told me, oh, you have pain on your foot because you were born with a bone that it's not supposed to be the shape and size of what it's supposed to be. One guy told me, you're aging. I was 32. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. How does that make sense? I mean, I'm 32. It didn't make sense. And I was still looking for answers. So the job was very stressful, and every doctor would tell me, you know what, it's stress. It's stress. You have to sleep correctly. I'm like, I'm not sleeping. Oh, you have to have a routine. You have to make your room very dark, and you have to go to bed every single day at the same time. And things are gonna get better. There's hope. And you can take antidepressants because they work for migraines too. Like, I'm not taking drugs. I don't want to do the drug thing, because you start and then you gain weight, and things just seem to be worse from there, right? Well, at Aventura Hospital, I learned that fibromyalgia is something that the doctors tell you when they want to get rid of you. They don't know what you have, and they tell you, listen, you're a woman, everything aches, it's hormones, you probably have fibromyalgia. And the doctors laugh about that. If you get the diagnosis fibromyalgia, it's because they don't know what to do with you, right? So things started getting better because I found a new job. I left Aventura Hospital, my commute was better, and I said to myself, listen, Jeanine, it's now or never. Now you're going to focus on you. You're going to find out what is wrong with you. I mean, you're a librarian, for crying out loud. Your job is to answer questions for people. So how come you don't know what's wrong with you, right? And I went to the doctor, a new doctor, different hospital, and the doctor came back with a questionnaire, and he said, listen, your lab work is normal, everything seems normal, your MRI is good, and you just probably have fibromyalgia. And I said, listen, I don't have depression, I don't have fibromyalgia, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and you're going to hear from me. I went back to my office, and I was furious. Because if I know that the medical community thinks that fibromyalgia is something that doesn't exist, and this guy is telling me I have fibromyalgia, he's not fooling me, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Does it make sense to you? Anybody? No, right? So, in the meantime, my dad was diagnosed with something called PSP, Progressive Supranuclear Palsy. I don't know if anybody has heard of it. Anybody? It's a very, very cruel disease. It paralyzes the body, the person cannot eat, it's progressive, it has no cure, and the person understands and remembers everything, so you can talk to the person, but they cannot walk, they cannot eat. Very sad. And I was scared that maybe the symptoms I had, again, were, genetics. Maybe I didn't have what my mom had, but maybe I have what my dad had because he passed away. So I was scared, and I decided to go to a PSP meeting, and I was again the problem child. I was like, how about metals? How about toxins? How about pollution? What could be the cause of this disease? What causes PSP? Oh, well, we don't know. But we're working with the pharmaceutical company to develop a drug so we can find a cure to PSP. So I had me diagnosed with fibromyalgia, being super furious, and my dad dying of